Stay away from those turf monsters, but you can't get enough Kevin Hart. And we also have big transfer news out of Clemson and college football and some big news of the NFL. So let's get right to it, David.
Yes.
This is Sports Center.
Jameis Winston is back in the building. What he's saying about the Bucs' big decision. Hear from the quarterback for the first time since his suspension ended. Plus, after being replaced as the starter, Kelly Bryant is replacing Clemson as his university. What Dabo Swinney had to say upon finding out. Was a timeout for two superstars a blessing in disguise for the Celtics? Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward on how their injuries could help in the long run.
And before you know it, I am on the ground. Man, this is going to be on Sports Center, not Top 10.
Huh?
All right. Jameis Winston is back practicing with the Buccaneers. His 3-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy ended Tuesday. The first day the fourth-year pro was permitted to return to the team's training facility and have contact with coaches and teammates. Question is, what will his role with the team be moving forward? Ryan Fitzpatrick, the starter in his absence, has been on a historic pace passing the ball. Let's take a look at what Fitzpatrick has done in his 3 weeks as starter. Passed 400 yards in each game, becoming the first player in NFL history to have 3 consecutive 400-yard passing games. His 1,230 passing yards throughout those, only behind Tom Brady in 2011 for a historic pace. And then, what will it mean for Week 4? Well, this is new on SportsCenter. Jameis Winston moments ago talking about being back in the building.
I think the most important thing is being back in the building. Yesterday it was kind of an off day. I got here about 5:30, so I didn't see a bunch of smiling faces coming in, But today, everybody came back energetic, and it felt like home, so I'm excited to be back. I'm so happy that we had some successful games, and we got to keep it up. We got to continue to go out there and win football games. I'm excited for Fitz, and I'm excited as a whole. As a team, we're playing very good. And like I said, man, I'm happy to be back in the building, and we just got to keep it up.
Are you willing to wait your turn if it comes down to that? Because you've never really done that in your career.
Well, again, the most important thing is the success we have. I'm back. I'm more excited about that right now. As a team, we're playing very well. I wanted to be a part of that, and now I'm a part of that. So now it's going to be great. It's going to be fun.
Jameis Winston, upbeat as usual. Again, the first time he's spoken since he got back from suspension. We got Teddy Bruschi and John Fox here with us. He didn't want to answer the question, are you willing to wait? That puts a guy in a tough spot. You want to act like you're a team guy, but you want to start. What do you make of the situation he's in?
Well, him personally, he wants to play. I mean, you heard it referenced that he hasn't done this in a long time, all the way back to pre-Florida State probably. I don't know if ever, high school, college, in terms of was sitting on the bench and then watching when you're there, healthy, able to play. So mentally, how long does it take him to start to just sit there in his chair and get a little antsy and think, I should be playing, I should be playing? But for right now, he's got to watch. Like they say, he's got to watch, and Fitzpatrick he has thrown a couple interceptions. He did against the Steelers, but still, this is a guy that hasn't been in the building till this week.
Yep.
So you can't just put him out there right now. Fitzpatrick's your starter.
He has gone to extraordinary measures to stay sharp. He brought in George Whitfield, the quarterback coach, had 11-on-11s, guys in pads, former players, just trying to simulate NFL practices. John, as a head coach, Dirk Cutter's got a tough decision maybe. How would you play it if you were in his spot?
Well, I think he's got to go with the hot hand. And let's not forget now, Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Tampa Bay offense are #1 in the league.
Yeah.
Both at the quarterback position statistically at the end of 3 weeks, as well as a football team. There's an old adage out there, if it ain't broke, fix it. So I think he's got a tough decision. I really respect what he's doing about keeping the Bears in the dark on who that'll be. Because obviously these guys are both different skill sets. As far as the mobility of Jameis, the Bears are familiar with Tampa Bay Bucs because they've played them the last 3 seasons. So there is going to be familiarity there. And the fact that Dirk's, keeping them in the dark, I think is good. I think it'll be Ryan Fitzpatrick. Personally, that's what I would do.
And you got to think about Fitzpatrick, the possibility of him throwing 3 interceptions in the first half. Has it happened before? You've seen him make mistakes. He takes chances.
Yep.
He trusts his receivers. A batted ball, here's another interception, something happens. Maybe you need a boost. Maybe Jameis comes in that type of situation. So you have to keep all doors open.
You just wonder how many opportunities he's going to give Ryan Fitzpatrick before he sees number 3 standing next to him on the sideline and sends him out there. We'll see. An interesting time at One Buck Place. John and Teddy with us talking us through it.
All right, this is a developing story. Earlier in the week, Kelly Bryant demoted as Clemson starting quarterback. Now he tells the Greenville News he is transferring. Bryant waited 2 years behind Deshaun Watson, started the last 18 games for Clemson, winning 16 of those starts under new NCAA redshirt guidelines. By leaving now, he can salvage his final year of eligibility, has not decided where he will spend it. This is what he told the Greenville News about how his meeting with Coach Dabo Swinney went when he was told he wouldn't be the starter, saying, "They asked me how I felt about it. I was like, I'm not discrediting Trevor. He's doing everything asked of him, but on my side of it, I feel like I haven't done anything to not be the starter. I've been here. I've waited my turn. I've done everything y'all have asked me to do, plus more. I've never been a distraction. I've never been in trouble with anything. To me, it was kind of a slap in the face." Now new on SportsCenter, Dabo Swinney, Clemson head coach.
Saddened and disappointed that he's chosen to leave the team. But I really have absolutely nothing bad that I can say about Kelly Bryant. He's one of the best young people I've ever been around. And even though I don't think this is a great decision, I certainly respect it, and it doesn't change anything that I feel for Kelly. You know, as a coach, sometimes you have to make the tough decisions that are in the best interest of the team, and this is one of those decisions. And I would make it all over again because I believe that it's what's right for our team, and I feel like Kelly would have continued to help us win and play a lot, but it's not what he wanted to do.
All right. Fresh off the oven, this is a hot topic. Paul Weinbaum joins me now on Coast to Coast. You heard there what Dabo said. What are your thoughts about what his reaction was to all of this, Paul?
I think Dabo, Max, has handled this very well. First of all, he could have played or started Kelly Bryant Saturday against Syracuse, and that would have been it. He would not have been able to transfer then. So he preserved that eligibility by doing this now and then letting Kelly Bryant have a day off Monday and then think about it. Obviously, when he didn't show up yesterday, you knew that this was going to be a fait accompli, that he was gone. Now, I don't understand Kelly Bryant saying it was a slap in the face. He competed for the job. He lost. He lost to, in my mind and most people's mind, a better player. Kelly Bryant is a good quarterback. He helped Clemson get to the national semifinals last year. But he had a horrendous game. He was exposed in that game by Alabama and Nick Saban. And I think you saw some of that this year, especially in the Georgia Tech game. Having said all that, and that's a lot, he did help A&M. He did help lead his team to a victory at A&M. But he's gone now, and that was his call.
And you mentioned Dabo Swinney kind of did him a favor here, making that move where we are. But from the benching to the transfer, are you surprised at how fast the process went?
Well, we all knew this was the week, Max. Coaches wanted this rule, and now they are facing the consequences, and this is clearly the highest profile. This is, by the way, we didn't really talk about this much in the offseason. We obsessed over Jalen Hurts and Tua, and we ignored, for the most part, what may have been and turned out to be the most interesting quarterback battle. So I think the coaches all know this is week 5. You can't play more than 4 games, and I think that's why Dabo Swinney did what he did. I just don't know how you can find any fault with what Dabo did. He gave this young man every opportunity. If you don't want to play here, you have a year to go somewhere else. And now the sweepstakes begin for Kelly Bryant.
Do you think, real quick, Paul, do you think he's a Power 5 transfer school type guy, or is he going to go a little bit off the grid here? Speaking of Kelly Bryant.
I don't see him landing that large. Now, I think the one everyone's going to be going after, assuming he decides to transfer, is Jalen Hurts. If he plays this week, he'll have 1 more year. That's the difference. Kelly Bryant didn't have any more time to waste. If he played against Syracuse, his career was going to end at Clemson. If Jalen plays this weekend for Alabama, he will still have 1 year because he has 2 years left. He'll have 1 year left if he plays this weekend next year without penalty.
All right, we'll see how the hope plays out. Paul Weinbaum joining us here on SportsCenter Coast to Coast. Obviously, this week hasn't gone the way that Bryant wanted, but he moved quickly. Dabo said earlier this week that when you look at the productivity, just the sheer data, that Lawrence deserves to start, and you can see why. Bryant with the better completion percentage, but Lawrence has the edge in most other metrics. He has posted an 87 total QBR Bryant just 40. And remember, Lawrence was a decorated 5-star recruit, true freshman.
All right, we got Trevor Matich here. Max showing us the statistics on why it looks like Trevor Lawrence is the guy. Show us on the field why Dabo cast his lot with the freshman instead of the senior.
David, it's about how he's grown into the speed of the game and managing situations. If you go back to the opener against Furman, you'll see that his arm talent was there on the field. But you'll also see that against Furman in that opener, he was a little slow at times. Watch his feet. He'll take 7 tiny steps before he gets this bubble screen out, and that delays the release. Now, against Furman, it didn't matter. It's a touchdown. But another look shows why it will matter against better teams. The Furman defender is far away from this reception, but an Alabama or Miami defender will be right up on top of it, either hitting the receiver or maybe even picking that off. It's the speed of the game. But now, fast forward to last week against Georgia Tech, and it slowed down for him. Pre-snap, when this motion happens, no defender comes over to that side. So Trevor knows that he's got a numerical advantage in receivers to the left. He checks the play, rolls to that side, and sure enough, he confirms that he's got 2 receivers on 2 defenders, and now all he's got to do is use that arm talent to rip that ball past the underneath defender for an easy touchdown. This is the concept of managing the game, and he has grown week by week by week in doing it more quickly and in understanding what needs to happen. That was the only thing that was holding him back. And keep this in mind that Dabo knows that Tua is lighting up scoreboards at Alabama. Dwayne Haskins lighting him up at Ohio State. Georgia's lighting up scoreboards. His best chance to keep up is that arm talent.
Yep, it's an arms race right now in college football. Trevor Lawrence, it's his team as Clemson goes on to take on 4-0 Syracuse this week. Trevor Matich giving us the skinny there. Max, back to you.
All right, David, was a timeout for 2 superstars a blessing in disguise for the Celtics? Why Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward say their injuries could help in the long run. Plus, what happens when you've got all your friends in a Super Bowl suite and somehow make it onto the field after your team wins? Find out. Kevin Hart on Coast to Coast.
Here's a good Halloween trick. Buy a bunch of Reese's. There you go. Turn off all the lights in your house. Yeah. And then you just don't answer the door. Not sorry, Reese's.
The more we are together with nature, the more we are together, the better we'll be.
At AutoZone, doing more is what we do best. More loaner tools to get jobs done right. Finding fixes for more peace of mind. And more testing for less second guessing. So, how can we help you do more?
I love you. I can't stop thinking about you.
This feels so real. Sappy for maple? Then you'll love Dunkin's Belgian waffle sandwich and our other mapley and pumpkin-y flavors.
I can't wait to see you.
Excuse me.
I'm getting yelled at.
Get you into bed. Can we see your real well someday? Sure. Promise?
Promise.
Dad?